My friends, what I'm about to tell you tonight, it's something I've never said before. Something so powerful, so unbelievable, that I hesitated to even speak about it. But I have to, because it's not about me. It's about our country. It's about America's future. The crowd leans in. Not long ago, I had an experience, a moment that changed everything. I saw something, I felt something, and I knew it was from Jesus Christ himself. He showed me something about what's coming for this nation, and folks, you need to hear it, because it's not fear, it's not doom, it's hope, tremendous hope. No, I know a lot of people are losing faith. You look around, chaos, confusion, corruption, and you wonder, where is God in all this? But I'm here tonight to tell you, He hasn't gone anywhere. He's watching, He's moving, and He has a plan for America that's bigger, stronger, and more beautiful than anything we've ever seen before. Stay with me, because what I'm going to share, it's going to shake you, inspire you, and remind you of who we are as a nation under God. This is a message straight from the heart of heaven for every American who still believes this country was chosen for something great. So listen closely, because Jesus showed me something about America's future, and I need you to hear this. When I talk about a vision for America's future, I'm not talking about politics, I'm talking about destiny. What I saw, what was shown to me, was not through a television screen, not through the news, but through something much bigger, something divine. I saw a nation that was on the edge, yes, facing darkness, division, confusion. But then I saw a light breaking through that darkness, stronger, brighter, unstoppable. It wasn't a politician, it wasn't a law, it wasn't a movement of men. It was something from heaven itself. And I knew right then, America still has a future that's worth fighting for. What I saw was people, ordinary Americans, rising up again, not because someone told them to, but because something deep inside of them woke up. Faith, courage, love for their country. I saw communities coming together, people helping one another again, standing shoulder to shoulder. It wasn't about left or right. It was about right and wrong. It was about truth. It was about freedom. The kind of freedom that only comes when you believe that God still has His hand on this nation. I saw that the storms we're facing right now, they're not the end, they're a test, a refining fire. We've been through harder times before, but every single time, the American people have come out stronger, wiser, and more united. This time will be no different. What I was shown reminded me that this land was built on faith, not fear. Built by people who prayed, who believed, who worked, and who never gave up, no matter how bad things looked. And make no mistake, what's coming is going to take faith. Real faith, because what's ahead for this country, it's not small, it's big. Bigger than anything we've seen in generations. I saw innovation, prosperity, families being restored, communities coming back to life, and the name of Jesus being spoken again in schools, in homes, and yes, even in the halls of power. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be beautiful. Because when a nation turns its heart back to God, that's when miracles happen. That's when destinies are fulfilled. That's when America shines again. There's no question that these are uncertain times. People are afraid, they're tired, they're confused. You can feel it everywhere, in the stores, on the streets, even around the dinner table. There's tension, doubt, and so much division that it feels like the world is shaking beneath our feet. But that's exactly why faith and strength matter more now than ever before. Because when everything else falls apart, faith is the one thing that can't be taken from you. Faith is power, it's courage. It's the quiet confidence that says, I know who's in control, and it's not the chaos. Faith isn't blind hope. It's not pretending that everything is perfect. It's standing firm when everything around you is screaming that it's over. It's looking at the storm and saying, "You won't take me down." I saw people in this vision who refused to give up, no matter how dark things looked. They held on to something real, something eternal. They didn't let fear dictate their future. They prayed when others panicked. They built when others ran away. That's what strength looks like, not loud, not angry, but steady and unshakable. This country was built by people like that, people who crossed oceans with nothing but their faith, people who fought wars believing that freedom was worth dying for, people who lost everything but still thanked God for what they had left. That's the spirit that built America, and it's the same spirit that's going to carry us forward again. The moment we stop believing, that's the moment we lose everything. But when we believe, truly believe, mountains move, doors open, and what seems impossible becomes reality. Fear has been the weapon used to weaken us. They use it to divide, to control, to make us forget who we are. But faith breaks fear. Faith exposes lies. Faith reminds us that the same God who parted seas, healed nations, and raised the dead is still alive, still working, still watching over America. Strength doesn't come from power or money. It comes from the heart that refuses to bow to fear. It comes from the person who says, "I will not give up on this country because God hasn't given up on it." I saw something powerful, a truth that shook me to my core. America's greatness is not over. People say it all the time. We've seen our best days. Things will never be the same. But that's not what I saw. What I saw was a nation that has been bruised, yes, wounded, but not broken. A nation that's still chosen, still blessed, still carrying something sacred that the world cannot destroy. The greatness of America isn't something that can be voted away or erased from history. It's something planted deep in the soul of this land, something that was given by God Himself. I saw the heart of America beating again. I saw people remembering who they are, not what they've been told to be. For too long, we've been fed lies that this nation's best days are behind it, that faith doesn't matter, that patriotism is outdated, that the American dream is dead. But let me tell you, that dream is not dead. It's waiting for people to rise, to rebuild, to believe again. The spirit of greatness doesn't die just because times get tough. In fact, that's when it burns the brightest. This country has faced collapse before. It's faced wars, division. Dipri, what I saw next was something beautiful and powerful. A call for unity and courage, because no matter what else happens, no nation can stand divided against itself. And right now, that's exactly what the enemy wants: division, hate, confusion, and fear. But I saw people breaking through that. I saw Americans realizing that the person next to them is not their enemy, that the color of their skin, their background, or their beliefs don't make them opponents, they make them neighbors. I saw walls of bitterness crumble and bridges of understanding being built again. People began to talk, to listen, to pray together. That's when real strength started to return. Unity doesn't mean everyone agrees on everything. It means we agree on what truly matters: truth, justice, freedom, and faith. It means we stand shoulder to shoulder, even when we see things differently, because deep down we love this country and we love what it stands for. When we let go of anger, when we stop being afraid of one another, that's when courage rises, and courage is contagious. I saw courage spreading across towns, cities, and states. Men and women standing up for what's right, refusing to be silent, refusing to live in fear. Fear has been the loudest voice for too long. It's been used to divide us, to make us forget that we are stronger together. But when courage steps in, fear loses its grip. Courage says, you can't silence truth. Courage says, we are one nation under God, and we will not bow. I saw people of all backgrounds joining hands, praying together, defending their communities, and helping one another again. That's when I understood unity isn't weakness, it's power. It's what built America in the first place. And that unity doesn't start in Washington or the media. It starts in the hearts of the people. It starts with one person choosing forgiveness instead of hate, one family choosing to serve instead of divide, one community choosing love over fear. I saw that when Americans come together like that, with courage burning in their hearts and faith guiding their steps, nothing can stop them, sedition and betrayal. But every single time, something rises from the ash. What I saw in the final part of this vision was a wave, not of destruction, but of renewal. It began small, like a spark, and then it spread across the land. It was a movement of hearts turning back, of people realizing that the only real strength comes from above. I saw revival not just in churches, but in homes, in schools, in businesses, in the streets. People who had been lost were finding hope again. Families that had been broken were being restored. There was a new fire in the eyes of Americans, a sense that something sacred was happening again. It wasn't a political movement. It wasn't a social trend. It was spiritual. It was renewal. I saw communities that had been forgotten start to thrive again. Small towns growing strong, cities healing, people helping each other without asking for anything in return. The greed, the anger, the corruption that had poisoned so much of our culture was being washed away by something purer. A return to truth, to integrity, to faith. People started to speak life again instead of fear. They began to dream again. Children looked at their future not with anxiety, but with excitement. It was as if a dark cloud had been lifted. This renewal wasn't loud or chaotic. It was steady, powerful, and unstoppable. It came through prayer, through repentance, through ordinary people choosing to do what's right. It came through families gathering around their tables again, through communities working together, through a nation remembering its creator. The revival I saw wasn't just emotional, it was transformative. Hearts were being healed, and with that, the nation itself began to heal. And then I saw a light spreading across the country, not a light from man, but from heaven. It touched every corner, every state, every home that opened its doors to it. People who once felt hopeless began to stand tall again. They started believing that the future could be better than the past. I saw joy returning to faces that had forgotten how to smile, and peace settling in where chaos once ruled. It was the beginning of something new, something holy, something that could only come when a people turn their hearts back to God, as not because of politicians or programs, but because of people who refuse to let the light go out. That's the America I saw. The America where families come together again, where children grow up proud of their flag, where faith isn't something to hide, but something to celebrate. The greatness of America has never been about wealth or power alone. It's about values, honor, sacrifice, courage, freedom. It's about knowing that we are a nation that can fall and rise again, stronger than before. And I saw it, cities being rebuilt, communities coming alive, voices of truth growing louder, and the fire of hope spreading like never before. The world will look and wonder how America came back, how she stood tall again, how she found her way after so much darkness. It will be because that light, that greatness never truly left. It was just waiting for us to remember who we are.